Good morning and welcome, rabbis, parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, friends, and all of us who are here today to celebrate this wonderful graduating class. Dear class of 2022, I have been here with you for 2 very unusual years. The challenges our school faced were unprecedented, and we were so fortunate to have your class in the vanguard. While small in number, you are an exceptionally diverse group in terms of interests, personalities, and religious backgrounds. Rabbi Soloveitchik, Zecher Tzaddik Livracha, said that each individual in a community adds their own unique message and color to the communal spectrum, and that each individual is irreplaceable. And so it is that even as each of you is so unique in your own right, you came together in friendship and built a supportive and inclusive community here in school. Both as individuals and as a class, you remind me of Shammai's famous statement in Pirkei Avot, "Say little and do much, and receive all men with a pleasant countenance." In describing your class, one senior told me, "We act as one." Indeed, you consistently supported one another and led our school with sensitivity and menschlichkeit, whether in Tefillah, the Robinson Center, the gym, or conversations in the Commons. You certainly played the central role. Yet, you made everyone feel welcome, seen, and heard. As you take your leave of NEJA, know that we will truly miss you, your leadership, your perseverance, and your seriousness of purpose. And we look forward to learning of the many achievements, both personal and professional, that lie ahead for your very talented class. Mazel tov.
Good morning. Before I ask Rabbi Aaron Skoglin to come up and lead us in the Star-Spangled Banner and Hatifa, I have a little note for myself. Please silence your mobile devices. Rabbi Skoglin.
We would always sing these anthems, but it bears mentioning that it is Memorial Day weekend, so we should keep that in mind. Please rise. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early evening, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Likewise, today on the Jewish calendar is Yom Yerushalayim, the day of the liberation of Jerusalem. Kol od balevav benima, nefesh Yehudi homiha, ulfatei mizrach kadima, ayin letzion Sophia. Od lo avda tikvatenu,
We begin our graduate reflections with Ephraim Gesson.
Good morning, and thank you for coming to celebrate our graduation. In the months before I began attending HH&E, I was very worried. People who were in the school at the time gave me the impression that I would not be accepted by the student body unless I made every effort to fit in. Thank God, they were wrong. When I entered HH&E as a freshman, I knew exactly what to do. But in a much more real sense, I had no idea what to do. I felt like I would never be able to integrate into the school and be embraced by the community. Although I had the unique advantage of having my brother and 2 cousins already attending the school, I feared that there was no way for me to break out of my shell and grow. With the help of my family, classmates, and teachers, I became more involved, transforming from a secluded freshman to a senior who was very involved with his peers and in communal activities. During freshman year, I would sit in the corner of the commons almost every day and eat my lunch alone. Some of the seniors at the time decided to ignore the message that I wanted to be left alone and made conversation with me. As much as I struggled at the time to engage, I deeply appreciate the fact that they insisted on making me part of the community. Nearly every teacher report that my parents have ever received has said that I need to participate more in discussions, to voice my opinions more frequently. My participation grade for English class in freshman year is not something I like to talk about. While I knew that the teachers were right, it was an enormous struggle for me to be able to state my ideas confidently. In Pirkei Avos, Hillel teaches that a shy person is not able to learn, since they are too embarrassed to ask questions, and that an impatient person is not able to teach, since they will not be able to deal with the aforementioned shy person. The teachers at NEJA didn't merely lament the fact that I stayed silent, they were patient and helped to build my skills so that today, my excuse for lack of participation in class discussions is no longer that I am shy. An incredible hallmark of the NEJA community is the welcoming spirit shown to newcomers. This year, there were a number of new students who joined in the middle of a semester. It was amazing to see these students talking to their new peers as if they had been attending the school for ages. I want to thank the students at NEJA, especially the seniors and juniors who make every student feel that they belong. NEJA is a place that cultivates students to become their best selves. It provides the perfect blend of giving us space while giving us opportunities to help us grow. As freshmen, many of us felt that we would never be able to reach where we are today. With the help of this caring community, we learned to unlock our potential. First and foremost, I would like to thank Hashem. I would like to thank my parents, who are always there for me, and who spend so much time giving me and my siblings an optimal upbringing. I would like to thank my siblings for the love they show me every day, and for being my biggest fans. I would like to thank my grandmother, the other Gessens, and all of my extended family for being so supportive, and for always giving me great advice. I would like to thank all the teachers of NEJA for the countless hours they spend to give us an exceptional education. I would like to specifically thank NEJA's rabbis, Rabbi Jeremiah, Rabbi Fried, and Rabbi Skoglin, for their remarkable dedication to the Jewish education of every NEJA student. I would like to thank the members of the administration who work behind the scenes and always make themselves available to help students. I would like to thank my classmates for being the best class I could have ever asked for. Rivka, thank you for being so considerate and kind, and thank you for coming back this year. Naomi, thank you for being such a supportive person, and thank you for the countless hours you've spent in canteen. Zachary, thank you for the hilarity you bring to every day, and thank you for your random texts that always make me smile. Harry, thank you for always being willing to help others, and thank you for keeping Fleischmann's in business. Jack, thank you for enlivening our school, and thank you for being friendly even when it is uninvited. Elijah, thank you for making my days here interesting, and thank you for your attempts to make me complete my assignments. I would like to thank the entire NEJA community for contributing to a school that has given us an amazing education and unparalleled opportunities to grow. As a freshman, I took pictures and videos of the soccer games on my phone. Today, I am NEJA's photographer. At the beginning of my sophomore year, I volunteered to help build one of the 3D printers for the Curtis Robinson Center. Today, I am NEJA's 3D printing expert. In 2020, I helped organize pictures and edit some pages for the yearbook. Today, I am NEJA's yearbook editor. During my freshman year, I was often seen in the Beit Midrash, finishing davening well after everyone else had already left. Today, I am NEJA's Jewish guy. 4 years ago, my classmates joined a school. Today, we are part of a community. Thank you.
continue our graduate reflections with Harry Gold.
Good morning. I have thought about writing this speech and dreamed of delivering it since my freshman year, or honestly, even before that. I even kept a list on my phone as I thought of ideas. I just couldn't wait to tell the story of how I ended up at HH&E, how just 10 days before the year started I made my decision. I went from a small class of 5 to a huge class of 9, now 7. I tried to write out the story, but it was always missing something. It never turned out the way I'd hoped or imagined. My words could never truly grasp how I feel about this school, what it has meant to me to go here. This was all until about a week ago. So let's start at the beginning. While I was considering options for high schools, the Hebrew High School of New England seemed a more comfortable option, despite my worries that it might be lacking in certain areas. My main concern was that I felt I would have no new experiences, as I'd already attended a small Jewish school, Solomon Schechter, and I wanted to try something new. However, my love for Judaism kept HH&E in the running. Yet, even with the Jewish offerings available at HH&E, joining that community would be risky for me. I have grown up in a conservative Jewish family, and the idea of attending an Orthodox high school was daunting. I did not come from the same background of Jewish learning as did many of the HH&E students, so how would I fit in among more Orthodox students? Would I be able to keep up in the Judaic classes? After lots of deliberation, I arrived at my decision. I would take the risk and attend HH&E, a decision I stand by and would undoubtedly make again. My concerns turned out to be unfounded, and many have rather become advantages. Despite being constrained by the size of the school and class offerings, the administration goes out of its way to be flexible. My level of observance was never important nor questioned, and people that fall into categories both greater and less than my level have become my closest friends. While the idea of NEJA initially struck fear into my middle school heart, the community has proven to be only welcoming and inspiring. About a week ago, I experienced something that illustrates that which makes this school and my class so remarkable, so special. My class, this class of 2022, came together in support of me. This fact. However, it would seem I was the only one. My classmates would simply have it. They were going to move it just to make sure everyone could go, to make sure I could go. This is the beauty of NEJA and my amazing class. I came to what was then HH&E, now NEJA, having just graduated from a small class at Solomon Schechter, in which I never truly felt that I fit in. My goal in choosing a high school was that I would find a place where I could find my people, my community. I succeeded. Our small class size helped to foster deep relationships that I know will last a lifetime. As I was reflecting on the story of our class trip, it became evident that one of the greatest aspects of being a part of this school is the dual sense of being an individual and being a member of the larger community. I can pursue my passions and make my own choices while knowing that I am part of and am surrounded by a supportive community. Last December, I began Mishnah Yomi, a Torah study cycle in which 2 Mishnayot are learned each day in order to learn the entirety of the Mishnah in under 6 years. Thank you, Rabbi Fried. My reflections on this community remind me of a Mishnah I learned a few months ago with my chavrita. Shout out to Marissa and Senkela. In Brachot 8:5, there is a debate between Beit Shammai and Beit Hillel about the nature of the blessing on the flame during Havdalah. They battle over whether the words in the blessing are singular or plural, meor ha'esh or merei ha'esh. The Gemara explains that the key difference comes from their opinion on what the flame itself is. Is it a singular, pure flame, or a plural flame of many colors? So what does this have to do with anything? I think a few more pieces of Mishnah might help. Just a few weeks ago, the Mishnah Yomi cycle completed the tractate of Kilaim, mixtures of species. This is an entire tractate dedicated to explaining the prohibitions and exceptions surrounding keeping things separate and essentially individual. In almost exactly 3 years, the cycle reached Pirkei Avot. In Avot 2:4, Hillel states that one should not separate themselves from their community, al tifrosh min hatzibur. The commentaries explain that this refers to the importance of staying with others in times of struggle. The pure flame that Beit Shammai envisioned refers to the ideal, the perfect situation in which we can be individuals and not need to rely on others. Yet, our lives are not perfect. We do need to rely on others. We need community. We must be as Beit Hillel's flame, an imperfect mixture of colors made up of our own needs and the needs of our community. The New England Jewish Academy has allowed me to flourish as an individual within a loving, supportive community. Last week is just the most recent example of how the NEJA community, and my class more specifically, is able to come together and support those within it. I am so honored and privileged to be a part of this class, this school, this whole community. We, the class of 2022, have learned together, laughed together, and weathered difficult times. We watched HH&E turn into NEJA and have navigated through a worldwide pandemic. We leave here with knowledge, wisdom, and everlasting memories. Now, for something that has been on my phone's graduation ideas list ever since the school's name changed, I would like to thank the Academy for everything it has done for me and for all the ways in which it has supported me for the last 4 years, and for how what I learned here will continue to support me in my future. Some of the next few thank yous may be a bit satirical in nature, just keep that in mind. Thank you, Rabbi Skoglund, for ensuring we always had adequate amounts of sleep. Thank you, Rabbi Jeremias, for bringing us up to speed on the alphabet. A as in apple, B as in boy, and F as in Philip. And for improving my vocabulary with your multitude of SAT words. Thank you, Rabbi Fried, for your weekly quizzes drilling into my head when the Mishnah was compiled, 200 CE by Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Also, thanks to your leadership of the Mupei Din team, I feel privileged to be one of the select few to have seen you in sweatpants. Thank you, Dr. Collins, for helping to get what you call the train wreck back on its tracks. Thank you, Mr. Camerata, for keeping our spectroscopy labs on display since freshman year. Thank you, Lori, for letting us watch only the most influential films of our time, Happy Feet and the B-Movie. Thank you, Ms. Lorenzo, for keeping us up to date on the best lottery practices. Thank you, Maura Knott, for letting us watch movies every Friday. Thank you, Mr. Page, for jeopardizing your marriage at times to help me get the grade I deserved. Thank you, Ms. Provenzano, for starting a Friends session with Orbeez. It has truly been entertaining. Thank you, Maura Naomi, for always giving me a class filled with laughter to look forward to at the end of the day. Thank you, Dr. Leichberg, for keeping us after school for class on a regular basis. Thank you, Mr. Town, for always keeping us alert with our eyes peeled for flying markers. Thank you, Mrs. Page, for adding some color, purple, to all of my papers, and of course, for all of your help throughout the college process. I know I would not have gotten to where I am without you. Thank you, Batsheva, for not requiring me to finish filling out my admission application. Thank you, Dr. Nabel, for always motivating me to do well with bagels and lox every few months. Thank you, Grandma, for your love, optimism, and continuous support. Thank you to my brothers, Leo and Eli, for giving me countless opportunities to practice my peacekeeping skills. Thank you, Mom and Dad, for everything you do, from being my personal chauffeurs to essay editors, to my most ardent supporters. All jokes aside, I would like to thank everyone here for everything. You, the people of NEJA, have offered me a platform on which to grow, and for that I will always be grateful. Finally, thank you to my entire class. I am truly blessed to have been able to spend these last 4 years with you, and I will miss you all. Thank you.
We continue with Elijah Kessler.
Good morning. My whole academic career, I have attended small Jewish private schools. The transition from middle school to high school was hard. Going from a school where I enrolled for more than a decade to finally experiencing a new change in students, faculty, and scenery was absolutely life-changing. It felt like practically everyone knew each other and that I stood out of place. This caused me to be quite anxious, and I recall begging my parents to let me stay home from school for the first month. Each day, I was uncomfortable, yet as I became accustomed to all the changes between schools, I grew to absolutely love it here. Everyone is so warm and is brimming with positive attitudes, and there is no firm barrier between ages. It is not uncommon to see freshmen or sophomores engaging with seniors, which seems to not be at most other high schools. The first day of high school feels like yesterday. Ding, ding, ding. The first class of my high school career. Going to the first day of school assembly and then walking into Lori Zackin's room for history and witnessing my first announcement on the loudspeaker, Maya Oberstein to the office, Maya to the office. I've created many friendships here that will last me a lifetime, both with classmates and younger students. The lunch basketball games with Victor, Avi, Jack, Nahum, Holden, and Noah, to the homework grind with Harry, and the pointless messing around with Frimal, which often turns into watching Family Guy. The school has really encompassed the quote of, "It takes a village to raise a child." We are a rather small school, yet an extremely strong community and support system. The teachers are not here just to throw concepts down your throat. Yes, the derivative of tangent of x is secant squared, and Rabbi Yehuda Nasi compiled the Mishnah in 200 CE. Yet, these teachers are here to help you grow as an individual and ultimately are here to aid you for the rest of your life. This energy and compassion is exactly what I have experienced over my 4 years here, and I truly believe I have grown permanently as an individual. In Pirkei Avot, chapter 4, Ben Zoma asks, "Who is wise? He who learns from every person." This is what I have felt primarily over the years here. Not only do I learn from the teachers and faculty, yet each student brings a certain type of individuality with them that provides me with something to learn from every day. While this school is so special and unique because of these connections, that does not mean there were not tough times. It was hard when I pulled up to baseball practice a bit late because school here has longer hours. Knowing kids my age had the time to play sports and explore their own passions while I was in school was tough. Regardless, I believe it was all worth it. The extra knowledge that I was privileged to learn, both secular and Judaic, was a great opportunity that I will always cherish. All things have consequences, yet I can say with certainty that the hours spent here, growing both academically and socially, were worth every hardship and obstacle. I first want to thank each of my classmates individually. One perk in being as small as this is that I can thank each person in the class without an exorbitant amount of time being spent. I first want to thank Rivka for always being a great classmate and someone I could always count on for any assignment that may need some editing, such as this essay. Next, I want to thank Nico for always being someone I could argue with about poetry and overall many things, which allowed us to have constructive and productive conversations. I want to thank Zach for always being someone that I could count on to make a joke inside or outside of class. The countless roasts you have made of many of us and the teachers as well are unforgettable. I want to next thank Jack for being a great friend and the person I came in when transitioning from middle school. I have by far known you the longest and I'm definitely grateful for that. Next, I want to thank Harry. It goes without saying, your constant strive for greatness in academic circles has pushed me also to do my best, but you're always the one I can hop on the phone with for countless hours to discuss anything from school and teachers to personal life and family. Last but certainly not least, Ephraim. You may be known to have many nicknames over the few years I have known you so far, but I'm very appreciative of the close friends that I now have. Someone I always talk to about anything besides school. Makerspace, a lot about davening and Judaic things, but always a good time. I want to give a special thanks to Mr. W, who I've known forever and just seems to be following me wherever I go. Your gym classes were always enjoyable, and taking advantage of a few of them here and there when I had a break was always relieving. I also really want to thank Rabbi Fried, Mrs. Page, and Mr. Town for being some of my favorite teachers. You each pushed me very hard in your own ways, but I think I have grown exponentially from each experience. Thank you, Dr. Nabel, for being someone that the students can count on if they need anything from personal to academic, and thank you for putting up with us all during our preparation for this momentous occasion. Someone who seems to go underappreciated each year is our custodian, Paul, who does an amazing job cleaning up after us all, and I just want to give a huge thank you to him. This school would look quite differently without him. I want to thank Eden, Nira, and Lexi for being the most supportive, annoying, and best sisters I could ever ask for. While you get on my nerves from time to time, you're always there for me, so I love you and thank you. Unfortunately, there will be no more rides for Eden, Nira, or Talia for that matter, so I apologize. I want to also thank both sets of grandparents. Thank you, Gigi, for making the long trip up here, and for you and Poppy's nonstop support of whatever I choose to pursue. And I always know that I have you guys as an ear for me to convey my thoughts at any given time. I also want to give my thanks to Saba and Grandma, who unfortunately cannot be here today. You both are always so generous and give me and the girls anything we could ever need. I'll never forget the countless adventures we have had together, such as the Yankee games or traveling around New Jersey and Pennsylvania overseeing your properties over Pesach. Lastly, I want to thank my parents for everything they do for me. Without them, I do not know where I would be, certainly not going to the University of Maryland in the fall. Your nonstop support, though it has driven me crazy, has also pushed me into the man I am now, and I love you guys so much and will miss you when I go off to college. Thank you, and happy birthday to Saba.
We continue with Nico Olkin.
Picture a high school, a building full of students who would rather be anywhere else, full of teachers who are just trying to get through their syllabi, full of faculty sitting in their office alone all day. Sounds pretty boring, am I right? NEJA was never like that. From my first few months when everything was new, to now, when I've been here for 4 years, I've been truly excited to go to school every day. I came to NEJA as a tall child in the middle of my half-hearted emo phase, in denial about every aspect of myself. And now, here, that same person stands before you, a slightly older, slightly taller child, loving everything I've discovered about myself in this school. From the confident way that I walk around, to my true love and connection to Judaism, I owe everything to this school and to the teachers who have taught me. I remember walking into Mr. Page's English classroom freshman year, terrified at the thought of spending 45 minutes with him and 3 other students. Mr. Page had us write warnings about ourselves, like habits or obsessions that people should know about. I wrote, "We'll complain about braces," and drew a picture of a smiley face with braces. I look back on that and think, really? Is that really the best I could do? Is that really the first impression I chose to leave? And yes, it was. Because I was scared. Scared of judgment, scared of critique, a scared, lost kid who knew they would grow, but couldn't quite pinpoint how, who wanted so much and hated so much and didn't know so much. Maybe I'm in the same situation now, about to go off and live the rest of my life, about to learn so many random facts and different ways to love. But I can feel myself grow stronger, more sure of who in this murky pool of souls I am, and every day I thank these past 4 years for that. It's scary. I won't pretend that it isn't. But after all, as Rabbi Sir Jonathan Sachs said, change is not threatening, so long as we keep firm hold of the values by and for which we live. We can travel with confidence as long as we have a map. We can jump with safety, knowing that there is someone to catch us as we fall. As scared as I may be, I do have the tools that I know I'll need throughout life, thanks to NEJA. And how my relationships with my teachers have changed. For so long, they were simply the people whose classes I sat in. They told jokes from time to time, or said insightful things, but they didn't have much of an impact on me. Over the past 1.5 years, as I've let myself grow, I've grown closer to my teachers. They've become role models, mentors even. They've gone from being the people who gave me quizzes and homework to being the people who I could count on for anything and everything. Every morning I would walk into school and the first thing I would see would be Rachel smiling at me. Every day of senior year I would go to Mr. Page's classroom during lunch, sit on the floor and eat and talk with Mr. Page and my friends. Every day I would walk into Talmud class with Rabbi Fried and learn some obscure fact. Every day I would wake up knowing that I would go to bed that night slightly changed, slightly taller, slightly prouder, slightly more knowledgeable, slightly more confident. I'd like to thank so many people who have helped me become who I am. My parents, for one. They raised me, led me through exploring my interests, made sure I had a Jewish education, loved me for who I am, and so much more. Mama, thank you for talking with me about true crime and teaching me how to cook more than one thing at a time. Abba, Thank you for cutting my hair all those times and trusting me to cut yours, and for teaching me how to tell when bread is ready. I'd like to thank my sisters. Eliana, thank you for teaching me how important family is, and for always being there, helping me along the way, even when you didn't know you were helping me at all. Shoshana, thank you for showing me the ropes when I started at what was then HHNE. Thank you for all those DMCs and putting up with me when I accidentally turned them into arguments. And most importantly, thank you for nagging me about my sleep schedule. Thank you to my closest friends. Amuna, I've known you as long as I can remember, and you're in almost all of my early memories. You are the Mrs. Lovett to my Sweeney, minus the whole oven thing at the end. Elaine, I don't know how you manage to always know what to say, but you do. I can rely on you for a hug anytime I need one, and you are truly one of the kindest people I know. Siona, you're so easy to talk to and so much fun to be around. You've taught me to speak up for what I believe in and wear whatever I want. Rivka, whether we met at a bounce house in 5th grade or when you visited LYA in 6th grade, I am so lucky to have had you in my life these past few years. You are so encouraging, and I can talk to you for hours about everything and anything. You made high school so much more fun, and I'm so happy you came back this year. Rachel, thank you for being somebody I could talk to for hours. And thank you for not minding too much when I accidentally left the canteen key at home, over and over and over again. Thank you, Mr. Page and Mrs. Page and Dr. Collins, for everything. Thank you to the teachers and staff at NEJA. You made my high school experience what it was, and although I didn't enjoy every second of it, like finals, I wouldn't change a thing.
We take a slight pause to make some scholarship awards. The Edlin Blitzer Honorary Award for Excellence in General Studies and High Integrity, Harry Gold. Get a picture. There are 2 Rosenblit Family Scholarship Awards for devout character and being helpful to classmates and teachers, Ephraim Gesson and Elijah Kessler. We continue our graduate reflections with Jack Resnick.
If I cry, it's Ephraim's fault. Look, if you had one shot or one opportunity to seize everything you've ever wanted in one moment, would you capture it, or would you let it slip? It's Eminem. There's a concept in Judaism called tikkun olam. This concept essentially states that God put each and every person in this world to fulfill a mission. Whether that mission is big or small is completely unknown to us. My years at New England Jewish Academy have helped prepare me to fulfill my purpose. Of course, I don't know what that purpose is yet, but being in this school gave me the environment I needed to grow. I've always been pretty shy. Whenever I was put in the spotlight or had any attention thrust upon me, I would freeze, feel anxious, and want to be anywhere else. I could vividly remember when my mom dropped me off at kindergarten. I was so terrified of being outgoing and talking to people that I would cry and beg her to stay. I really hated this part of myself, but for the longest time, nothing changed, because I thought I couldn't change it. This theme continued throughout my life. Every time a situation demanded me to be outgoing, I would feel fear and unease. From reading in class, to switching schools, to being the center of attention at my bar mitzvah, all of it, all the looking eyes and judging minds scared me. I've attended approximately 4 schools in my lifetime, not including preschool, because no one wants to count preschool. And every time I moved schools, I had this sense of fear around being outgoing. That was until I came here. Within the first couple of weeks of attending this school, I already felt like it was my home. Whether it was because of the warm environment or the fact that 2 of my best friends would be in the school with me, shout out to Aaron and Elijah, it felt right being here, and it pushed me on the path to really knowing myself. Of course, even though I felt like the school was my home, that doesn't mean I was outgoing right away. It began when I reluctantly decided to run for regional board for NCSY at the end of my freshman year, deciding to deliver a speech in front of over 100 people older than me without first planning what I was going to say. That started my journey up to being outgoing. That was one moment, one opportunity. The thing about our school is that even though we don't have the same amount of opportunities that a local public school can offer, we're in an environment where we can feel safe and have a strong sense of community. This does wonders for people's self-discovery and development. The community that we have at NEJA is unlike any other community I've been a part of. From the students to the teachers, everyone actually cares about you. If there's someone who looks like they're in a bad mood or not having the greatest of days, someone will inevitably come up to you and try to cheer you up and to figure out what they could do to make your life better. I've seen this play out numerous times throughout my years here. Another unique strength of our school is that it is so easy to become a leader. I ran for student council at the end of my freshman year. At that time, I still had that immense fear of public speaking. And, like when I ran for NCSY Regional Board, I decided not to plan my speech beforehand. I know, I should have learned from my mistake. I can say confidently now that I did end up butchering the whole thing. Nevertheless, because of the small student body, I still managed to get a position on student council. This was another moment, an opportunity that set me on the right path, my Tikkun Olam. I am truly amazed at how far I've come. I went from being freaked out giving my speech freshman year to being completely comfortable singing a parody of I Will Survive as a part of my student council speech senior year. The longer I've been in school, the closer I've become to who I want to be in life. Someone who is not scared of taking opportunities and spontaneously going on adventures. Someone who loves the spotlight instead of someone who gets anxious when being the center of attention. I'm now naturally drawn towards leading events and being the center of attention. Probably one of the best feelings I've had is playing basketball for this school and knowing that my friends and teachers are right there watching as I enjoy the limelight and the game with my team, even if we've had a very sad record of 1 win and 5 losses. There are many more things I love about the school. The teachers genuinely care about us when it comes to how we do in their classes, and more importantly, how we're doing as people. This leads to many conversations which help us learn a great deal more than what the curriculum requires. These tangents can range from talking about the designs of different car engines in Mr. Page's English class to inquiring about how can I afford a private island in Miss Lorenzo's statistics class. When all is said and done, I'm very glad I came to this school. The people at this school have been instrumental in forming who I am today, and I couldn't be more grateful. I'm really going to miss each and every one of you. Ephraim, every single time I don't understand something with tech or just need someone to talk to, you're always reliable. Maybe not reliable in your work ethic, but definitely as a friend. Harry, you make doing homework so much more enjoyable. If I didn't have you to call when we were in calculus, I either would have gotten mad or had severe depression for how long each assignment would take me to do every night. You have a golden heart. Yale and anyone you become close with there is so lucky to have you for the next chapter of your life. Elijah, we've grown up together, and you've definitely seen me change the most out of anyone here. We've been best friends and rivals for most of our lives. We're going to need each other later on to balance each other out. You can always reach out to me if you need some adventure or just want someone to talk to. Rivka, you might be the purest and most empathetic person I've met. Something I notice in people is how frequently they talk bad about others, and I can't remember a time where you have. You truly give people the benefit of the doubt and are always there when people need help. Your kindness will be remembered. Naomi, I will always remember our creative endeavors. Whenever I have a project in mind, I know I can count on you to give genuine ideas and criticism. From catching me up on the English readings to being a shoulder to cry on, you definitely come in clutch. Zachary, your jokes remain unmatched. Whenever class got boring, I can always count on you to say a witty one-liner to shake things up. I will miss you telling me to shut up and watching you make sheep memes in class. They are usually random and always funny, if anyone was wondering. Rabbi Skoglund, out of all the teachers, I've definitely connected to you the most. I can't thank you enough for the way you have guided me through high school and have nurtured me to have the meetout I have today. You believed in me and what I was capable of. I definitely want to stay in touch with you after I leave here. You will always be my mentor and teacher. Mom and Dad, thank you for always being there for me. From spending late nights helping with homework when I was younger, to always making sure I had food to take to school. I truly love you guys, and definitely should show it more often. I have this blank spit. Thank you to everyone else, all the student body and all the teachers, and my brothers. I acknowledge your existence. I keep on saying that leaving this place is bittersweet. The connections I've made here really amaze me. I'm ready to leave, but at the same time, I wish I could bring everyone with me on this adventure we call life. There's a Deadpool quote that really fits the theme of this speech. Over a lifetime, there are only 4 or 5 moments that really matter. Moments when you're offered a choice to make a sacrifice, conquer a flaw, save a friend, spare an enemy. In these moments, everything else falls away. So I ask you this favor. When your moment or opportunity comes, take it with the utmost enthusiasm and trust that everything will be okay.
We continue with Rivka Resnick.
For the past few months, I have found myself more ready than ever to move on from my current stage of life. And in doing so, I know I will have no choice but to leave the infamous comfort zone. My comfort zone is a conflicting place. It keeps me safe and it holds me back. It warns me of my limits and dares me to challenge them. My academic career has consisted of one major change after another, and with each transition, I was wrenched out of my comfort zone before it slowly grew to meet me. I homeschooled for all of elementary school. I remember my neighborhood friends confusedly asking me which grade I was in, whether or not I had to do homework, and how I made friends, even though they were my friends, comfortable where I was. In 6th grade, I entered a traditional school. For the first time, I experienced the overwhelming first day of school nerves, and I had no idea what to expect. I meticulously organized, labeled, and color-coded my school supplies before packing my bag to its max capacity, hoping that my preparedness would ward off my worry. That year jump-started an avalanche of changes, both in my environment and in myself. I went from observing and researching the plants in my backyard to filling in worksheets on chemical properties. From filling notebooks with amateur poetry to studying the structure of a sentence. From spending time primarily by myself, with my siblings, or with my friends in the afternoons, to being surrounded by people my age all day long. After the initial whiplash, I adjusted pretty quickly. I fell into the rhythm of early mornings, long classes, late nights. Again, I became comfortable where I was. Fast forward a few years, after changing to yet another school, and I entered the freshman class of what was then Hebrew High School of New England. The mornings got earlier and the nights got later. My friends and I grew more mature, our classes got more challenging, and my drive to succeed in them only increased. I have had to challenge myself every day, socially, mentally, and academically. High school has been difficult for me in all of these areas, but this school has provided me with experiences and growth that make it all worth it. Every summer for the past few years, I've firmly told myself that this next year would be the one when I become bold, outgoing. This year, I will speak up in every class. I will volunteer to present first. I will sit in the front of the room. I will push myself until it's second nature. This hasn't happened yet, and I'm slowly coming to terms with the fact that this might just not be who I am. Still, my comfort zone has expanded, gradually, in these familiar hallways among these familiar people. I am more comfortable expressing my thoughts, approaching teachers with questions, and hanging out in larger groups of people than I was just a few years ago. I think back to my 6th grade self who had no idea what she was in for. She never could have imagined the anxiety and exhaustion that she would face in the coming years. She also never could have imagined the amazing friends she would find, the enriching projects she would make, the satisfaction that would come as college acceptances file in as proof of her work. Now, facing a future full of unknowns, I remind myself that even among the stress and constant hustle of high school, I have managed to find small pockets of comfort to keep me going and motivated. Eating lunch in Mr. Page's room, for example, has been a daily chance to catch up with my friends and any last-minute studying. Art club twice a week, a chance to mindlessly swirl watercolors on the paper, construct a collage or sculpture, and decompress before the end of the school day. The frantic study sessions, tangential class discussions on the most interesting topics, brief exchanges with other students in the hallway or before davening. It's these moments, the seemingly insignificant, mundane ones, that have now formed my mosaic of memories from the past 4 years. These are the moments that have brought me comfort and that will continue to comfort me as I face the transition out of high school. In a flurry of college acceptances and final projects, the inevitability of change has never felt more real and more terrifying. I remind myself that, as attending this school has taught me, there have always been people there to support me, who are willing to lean in and hear what I have to say. There have always been people who are willing to wait patiently as I inched out of my comfort zone, and who celebrated me when I did. Friends and teachers alike have been there for me and have made the difficult moments so much more bearable, and the good moments even better. In the small, personal setting of this school, I've been encouraged to both face my discomfort and to make peace with my comfort zone. I've been supported when I speak up and when I choose to remain quiet. I've been urged both to challenge myself academically and to remember that I don't need to be an expert in every subject. A quote from the Lubavitcher Rebbe speaks on this theme of simultaneously accepting and improving oneself. He said, "Our souls cannot be broken that they should need repair, nor deficient that they should need anything added. Our souls need only to be uncovered and allowed to shine." This is the mindset I'm working towards accepting as I confront the parts of myself that seem like flaws. At NEJA, the prevailing attitude is not that we need to be fixed, but that our whole selves deserve to be uncovered, unconditionally accepted, and given the opportunity to shine. I appreciate all of my teachers for encouraging me to face what makes me uncomfortable, whether that's a speech, a difficult unit in class, or the reality that I won't always catch on to everything immediately. I also appreciate them for accommodating my introverted nature. For example, by occasionally letting me make short videos instead of oral presentations, helping me to present my thoughts in a form I'm more comfortable with, and to discover an unexpected interest in filmmaking. My teachers' willingness to accommodate and to support each and every student and their individual needs is something that makes this school so special. High school had its periods of discomfort, but I have become comfortable here, and the thought of leaving is bittersweet, to say the least. I will hold on to the relationships I've made and the memories, big and small, as I continue to challenge myself and learn to work with my comfort zone. The acceptance surrounding me here and the victories I've been encouraged to reach will always be what stands out to me when I think back to this time of my life. There are a few people in particular who have strongly impacted me in the last few years, who I would like to thank. Thank you, Ms. Lorenzo, for managing to make math the class I look forward to every day, instead of one I dread, and for encouraging me throughout all my AP stress this year. Thank you, Rabbi Jeremias, for taking the time to help me brainstorm ways to incorporate Jewish themes into this speech, and for always being a warm and friendly presence in this school. Thank you to both my parents for working hard to provide me with all of the opportunities that I'm privileged and grateful to have. Thank you to my mom for going above and beyond to always be there for me. I would not have been able to get through the past 4 years in one piece without your pep talks and constant support. and of course your daily rides to and from the bus stop. To my brother Ov, thank you for being so generous with your time, your home, and your cat, and for providing the comic relief in my life. To my other siblings as well, thank you for being steady presences in my life, who I know will always be there for me. Finally, thank you to my friends and my fellow classmates. You have all added so much joy to my life, and each and every one of you have made my high school experience what it was. Whether or not we keep in touch, although I hope we will, know that you have made an impact on me, and I'll miss you all. Thank you.
We conclude with Zachary Shulman.
Good morning. My name is Zachary Shulman, and I am from New Haven. I've been very fortunate to have had a wonderful experience at HH&E, now at NEJA. Wait, you can hear, right? Okay. Learning and growing up while still having the space to be me. In my opinion, the school has provided me with the best learning environment for me. It is engaging, and my schedule has been structured around what I need, enabling me to learn more. I'm grateful to have been part of one of the first classes at NEJA to have a makerspace, and the last class to have been part of the strong history that was HH&E. I hope we as a class help to foster the transition into NEJA for the lower grades. Regarding the makerspace, my time in there included using the 3D print, but I've also been involved in other clubs including the Dungeons and Dragons Club and the Chess Club. These have all made my time here much more fun, especially since sports is not my thing. Regarding my amazing classmates, I spend way too much time making fun of many of you, but I feel lucky to share so many inside jokes, probably more than I care to ever admit. Thinking back to when we first met at the start of our freshman year, I don't actually remember very much from the first day, but one of the feelings I do remember is how the day seemed to keep dragging on and on, not knowing who anyone was or what I should expect. However, the upperclassmen and faculty made sure that we knew what we needed to do and encouraged us to become closer to the rest of the community. One thing I do remember is about Sheva chaperoning us around the school. I probably bugged her with a few hundred questions throughout those first weeks, just something I still do today. But I thank her for her patience, her answers, and all the help she has given me. I remember all the times I made fun of the rest of the class and then proceeded to make sure that they didn't mind. I remember all the jokes that we made, many of which had something to do with cheese or sheep. I remember that time I made a cheese wrap with my class, even though I would prefer to never talk about that ever again. However, sometimes, just like my speeches sometimes stop, school seemed to have stopped in March of 2020. The pandemic and learning online were quite a blow to our time. I must admit the novelty of online learning wore off rather quickly, and the fear of COVID has had lasting effects on me for sure. That said, NEJA made sure we had a safe environment for in-person classes throughout the majority of the pandemic, and therefore I would like to thank the medical committee and the administration for all their support and guidance navigating me through the pandemic. It's hard to make sure someone like me was comfortable learning in the class, and I know they answered a lot of inquiries from me and my family. I appreciate all the people that kept the school going before and during the pandemic, and I gratefully appreciate everyone's support. Living in New Haven, I had the luxury of being driven up to West Hartford every day, sometimes in a bus, sometimes in a small van. Might have arrived late most of the time, but this at least gave me the ability to sleep longer every day. Sure that this is expensive, but I am thankful that the school still made sure to offer us transportation, which I know definitely made it easier for my parents. It's hard to imagine this chapter closing, but I'm very excited about the next chapter of my life. This fall I will be attending Drexel University to study engineering. I know that my experiences at NEJA and with all of you will influence my time and experience in college. I would be remiss if I did not thank Mrs. Page, as the college application process is not nearly as positive or smooth as if it had not been for your guidance. For I have singled him out that he may instruct his children and his posterity to keep the way of the Lord by doing what is just and right, in order that the Lord may bring about for Abraham what he has promised him. God felt that Abraham's greatest gift was his ability to teach others lessons that would last throughout their life. As I think of this text, I'm reminded of my gratitude towards my teachers and the amazing things they have taught me over the past 4 years. I wish I could thank each of you individually now, but in the interest of time, I would like to thank the entire faculty for their unwavering support, guidance, and flexibility that has enabled me to expand my knowledge and be successful in my studies, especially when it was challenging for me. I would also like to thank my classmates for getting me and for laughing at my jokes, even when they weren't funny. I am very fortunate to be in a community where everyone goes out of their way to help others. Finally, I would like to thank my family, including my siblings Zoe and Zevi, my grandparents Grammy, Grandpa Gigi, and Zadie, my cousins Uncle Brian and Aunt Marcia. But most especially, I must thank my parents for loving me and putting up with me. Thank you.
Rabbi Gedalia Jeremias will now present the class with their gifts.
Good morning. Please rise. We would like to offer the following blessing. O Heavenly Father, may our graduates always find words of comfort and joy in the Siddurim they are about to receive. O Lord, bestow goodness, blessing, kindness, righteousness, safety during these unsure times, and peace upon our beloved graduates and all those who are gathered here with us today. Heavenly Father, shine your countenance upon our graduates, and may it be good in your eyes to bless our graduates at all times and in every hour of need. And let us say, Amen. I'm very proud to present our gifts to our students this morning. Ephraim Gesson. Harry Gold. Elijah Kessler. Nico Olkin. Jack Resnick. Rivka Resnick. And Zach Schulman. Thank you, everyone.
I'm now calling Mrs. Page and Rabbi Skoglin to the stage to present the diplomas. Ephraim Gesson. Lots of time for pictures. Everyone got their pictures? Harry Gold. Elijah Kessler. Nico Olkin. Jack Resnick. Rivka Resnick. And Zachary Shulman. I now ask Jack to do the turning of the tassels.
Class of 2022, turn your tassels and don't worry about it.
Rabbi David, here we go. Let's get this in. Rabbi David Freed will give the charge to the class.
Chapter 5 of Pirkei Avot outlines the developmental stages of a Jew's life. I think you can all hear me, right? Okay. Chapter 5 of Pirkei Avot outlines the developmental stages of a Jew's life and gives us a glimpse into the educational curriculum of the 2nd century CE. At 5 years old, one begins to study Tanakh. At 10, Mishnah, and at 15, Gemara. From there, the Mishnah moves on to less educational milestones. At 18, one gets married. At 20, one begins a career. Okay, things have been pushed back a little bit now, but same basic concept. But the educational goals listed in this Mishnah are not done. At 40, one achieves understanding. At 50, one can counsel others. Class of 2022. Your formal, mandatory schooling is complete. You've mastered, or at least tried to master, the curriculum we've laid out for you. But your greatest educational achievements are still ahead of you. It's so easy once you're done with school to stop asking the big questions, to believe you've found all the answers, and move on to the hard but mundane tasks of earning a living and supporting a family. Pirkei Avot is here to tell you that life can continuously bring you new insights and ever-deepening levels of understanding. As you become adults, as your education ceases to be someone else's responsibility and becomes your own, the most important advice I can give you is that lifelong learning doesn't just mean reading more books, amassing knowledge of more facts and more trivia. It means to keep asking the big questions, to always be willing to reevaluate fundamental elements of your worldview in light of new evidence and new experiences, to always maintain the attitude that true understanding is yet to come. You've graduated from high school, now go out and learn.
Congratulations, class of 2022. You're there. Please join us for graduation cupcakes outside through the doors right there. Thank you.